Hello world, it is Wednesday, January 4th, 2023. I'm looking out the window at Defiance. Another overcast day, but relatively warm. It was in the low to mid 50s this morning, but I believe the weather is going to be changing and we'll actually be seeing a drop in temperature as the day goes. Rather than an increase. The devotion for today is entitled Calloused Hearts, written by Fiwa Majeni. Fiwa bases the devotion upon Acts chapter 7, verse 51 from the Message Bible. And you can continue so bullheaded, calluses on your hearts, flaps on your ears, deliberately ignoring the Spirit. You're just like your ancestors. And then Fiwa writes, maneuvering the monkey bars on the playground as a child is one of my most amazing athletic feats to date. There's no way to fully describe how I felt when I could finally jump high enough to reach the bars from the ground without assistance, or when I successfully moved from one bar to the next, making my way across the entire distance in one fell swoop, and eventually learning daring tricks. American Ninja Warrior? I was unstoppable. The prolonged pressure from hanging on the bars and frequent friction from swinging across them created protective layers over the tender parts of my hand, where my palms end and before my fingers begin. The more I played on the bars, the harder the calluses became. Like many children before me, my hardened skin became a badge of honor that I wore proudly. Those calluses remained until middle school, when the playground grew up and no longer had monkey bars. Slowly, my palm skin softened with time to rest and heal. Beyond the playground, we face exponentially more pressures to achieve success and more frictions that have us bullheadedly protecting our hearts. Calluses form, hardening this life-sustaining muscle that requires flexibility to function. Indeed, we must disrupt our inherited need to persist without rest so the internal and external healing we need can begin. Our lives depend on it. And Fiwa's prayer. Palliate the pressures that distort our suffering as badges of honor. Free us from the frictions that distance us from you and each other. Soften our hearts, protective God, so that we might deliberately recognize your presence in and all around us. Amen. I think for me, this devotion is a reminder that with all the stresses in the world that are going on, our hearts can become hardened with the preponderance of violence on media and television and movies. We can become immune to real violence in the world, calloused, I guess you might say, against it. Or even when people from an oppressed group express their concern about their oppression and try to raise the issue and try to get things to change, and because we've not experienced that ourselves, we may have a tendency not to believe or understand them, and in a way become calloused towards their situation because it's not something that we're familiar with. And I think to be followers of Christ is to have a soft heart, to be open to others, to understanding their way of life and the pressures that they feel, the things that happen to them, even if we can't relate, especially if we can't relate because we've never experienced those things ourselves. It's to have an open and welcoming heart and an understanding heart and a compassionate heart, because that is the heart of God in Jesus Christ, I believe. Well, I hope you have a good day. I hope this devotion gives you some things to think about, and I hope you find ways to keep your heart soft and spend some time just with the Spirit, with God, softening your heart. Take care. Hope to talk to you again tomorrow.